head this morning. I'm making honey glazed spare ribs, but I'm using baby back ribs. All right, if you're using spare ribs, you're going to need 3.5 to 4 pounds. I like the baby back ribs more, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to read and give you some history of this dish. All right. It used to be that during Lent, monks were allowed to eat only what was fished from the river running past the monastery. Legend has it that a few quick-witted monks used to sneak upstream and tossed a few pigs into the water. Okay? Their accomplishments, their compliances would catch them. No, their accomplices, the other people, would catch them as they floated past the monastery. So pork from the head to the tail has been historically been consumed in large amounts throughout the Basque region. This Basque region is in France. In the French province, much of the pork was made into confit, I think. As a boy, this person, he couldn't wait until they would be allowed to pull the nice racks of ribs out of the confit crock. Then the ribs were grilled until they were crispy and hot. Okay, so this is what the dish is going to be somewhat like. And good morning, Nicholas. Sometimes I can't read in the morning. I get up too early. So we've got some interesting things going into this. We're going to need, let's see, how much of this do you want? 1 tablespoon of crushed peppercorns. Good morning. Good morning, Danielle. So we need a whole tablespoon. Now I'm going to make this with truffle mashed potatoes and a simple broccoli, because I keep my vegetables very simple for their flavor. And we're going to have pickled beets with it. So that's what we're having today. So we have to grind these up very fine, they said. They're not talking about it. So peppers come in different grades as well. Hi, Daniel. And shouldn't you be sleeping still, young man? I bought the stuff for this recipe and I couldn't find it. I lost it in my cookbooks. I know one woman, she had a whole wall of cookbooks, and I think she literally bought every cookbook that was ever published. Wasn't that it was following her, I guess, but I never saw her cook. But I've seen her, she would just sit and read and read and read and then order food. My thing was, why buy the cookbooks if you're not going to use them? That's me. Another thing you have to know in cooking is if you see coarse salt, that is kosher salt. That's what they mean, so be aware of that as well. Then, no, we are having honey glazed spare ribs today. Did I put all this together? Okay. Oh, hi. How are you, Castro? Good morning. Okay, we're going to have to get some honey together first. All right, they want 3/4 of a cup of honey. My honey crystallized again, so I had to heat it up. You're going to need a baking dish, pan, really, And you have to line it with foil, and also set your oven at 375. Now we need 3/4 of a cup of honey. Okay, I know this is hot. I'll just leave you sitting there for now. Gonna put the black, you want the black pepper in this? Okay. If you say so. Okay, now for coriander, we need a whole tablespoon of coriander as well, and we've got to grind this up. Hi, Alan. Go slow. Do 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 do. Hi, did you enjoy the football game? Seahawks won. Has anybody ever used YouTube television? How is it? Yes, even our tails are tall tails. Like they say, the mosquitoes are so large in Texas, they could stand flat foot and fuck a turkey. And that's a real saying they say in Texas. Also, it rains cats and dogs. Those are the phrases that come from Texas. I mean, I know them. I grew up there. And the cowboys are really tall from Texas. They get out there, they work that cattle and stuff. They're big men. Snowy, I was only stating 2 phrases that you get. Hi, Vicky. And this gift just came and flew by, so I don't know, but thank you anyway. So we have to grind these coriander seeds now very, very fine. They don't want them pre-ground. They want you to grind them up yourself. So thank you, One Slice. Donald, thank you. Because when you see it and grind it up, it looks like it's a lot more than a tablespoon. So that's why they want you to grind it up, get the right measurements. Could you imagine having a mortar pestle and somebody comes at you and you hit them with this thing that's a stone? They won't be getting up anytime. No, I don't. No, I do not have a Valentine. I told you, no, I do not have a Valentine. The 2 Valentines I had are gone. Now see, that looks more than a tablespoon. Pour that into the honey too with the black pepper. And remember, it's 3/4 of a cup of honey. Okay, now that I've done that, is there anything else you want to put in this? Oh, okay, now I need a cutting board. Get a knife. This one's too small. You need 3 cloves of garlic to go into this honey mixture that we're putting together right now. Okay, you need 3 garlics minced. See, when I grew up, there were a lot of rules and regulations. Not like young people today. They don't seem to have a lot of rules unless they have a very strict parents, I should say, both parents. And parents should not be sparing the rod. They should tell the government to get the out of the family and let the parents raise their children. I know it's a double-edged sword with children. I know some people say you can't, and I tell them mind their own business. If you see black and blue, you know, but it's difficult, very difficult situation. Don't cut your hand again, Sandra. You'll have more band-aids on your fingers. Luna, you have to help yourself. Yeah, they're apples. Yep. Like I told you, the rod was not spared on my brothers and I, because I'm the only girl. And just about every child there knew spankings and severe whippings. And none of us have a criminal record, so our parents did something right. They were on us 24/7, and you know, so was the school and every parent in town. So I remember seeing one girl. I got accused of telling them to have sex before marriage. I said, I never said that. Where did you come up with that idea? Anyway, they had to get married. They had a shotgun wedding, which they have in Texas. I don't know if they still do. But if you got a girl pregnant, the father would definitely talk with you. You have a choice of being shot or marry my daughter. You put her in this situation, you're going to give my grandchild a name. So that was how I grew up. So if you thought the time was easy, we had to be very, when we finally grew up with all the whippings and guidance and everything, to be responsible. And anyone that wasn't, pretty much was going to be trouble. And they usually, because we had the draft at that time, which I agree is a very important thing, and we should have it today for the wimps of today, should be able, you know, to straighten these children out. Okay, what's next in this? We did that. I'm going backwards. Okay, we need a teaspoon of, I'm going to spell this because I'm going to mess it up. The first word is P-I-M-E-N-T. Then the second word is D-E-S-P-E-L-E-T-T-E. Okay? Now they want a teaspoon of this. Now, I read how to put this together. Since they want a teaspoon, I'm going to put a teaspoon of paprika. Okay. Since you want a teaspoon, you might as well. Good. Put that in the honey mixture. And then I'm going to put 1/4 of a teaspoon of cayenne. I woke up with songs in my head. I don't know what I was doing in my sleep. I woke up with songs. They say it's paprika with a pinch of cayenne to make that seasoning, since I don't have that seasoning here. way it's spelled, I definitely know it's overseas. Okay. All right, we need 2 teaspoons, believe it or not, of sherry vinegar. Each vinegar has a unique smell and taste. This is why they're very specific when they sit there and mention it. And that you put in the honey too. This one has a very lovely smell. I think I've got 7 vinegars or something like that. Then I have a seasoned vinegar over there. So I have a lot of different vinegars. Okay, now we've got all our seasonings together. Yes, I agree with you. Though some people probably won't like it. I remember when I first came up to the metropolitan area, I was shocked. They had men's clubs, but women started invading men's spaces. And they started brazenly going into where men were. And see, you have to think, men needed a place to decompress from work, all right? So they had these men's clubs, which I agree, men should have these clubs. And they would go there before they went home to decompress so they didn't take it out on their family or anything. And then they would go home. Yeah, and I let my husband go. I wasn't ashamed or anything else. And women started barging in, and men just wanted a place where they could decompress. And these so-called brassy females, I have to call them that because that's what they were for the time. So when I say these terms and you might not like them, you have to realize the time I grew up, this was. They went in there and they started disrupting it to where the point is there was no place for men to go. This was their sanctuary, literally, where they could just calm down. And women now are in their face. If you had a bar, there was a section for women in another room, and then the men had their bars. And this was a place where they could go and just relax and talk with men without having to be with women or anything else. Didn't work. Women barged in there too. And if men go to talk about business or something, women butt their nose and they don't give men that which they need. It's not called segregation. Yeah, see? So men have no place to decompress or anything else. Now, that's not sexist, and that's not putting women down, but women have pushed themselves into the men's world and will not give them a break. Men, they love their women. I'm not saying you don't, but the thing is that women, you have to understand, they need to step back and just be allowed to be in a place where they can talk about business, their frustrations and stuff, not about family, but it's just a place to decompress. If they still had them, I would own a men's club just so the men would have a place to go. And this is how I feel. My husband, before he came home, he would go to the studio and go paint, which would relax him in a place to go, just to get away from women, even from me. Men need that very, very badly. So now what has happened is what the women have done to the men, and I'm going to say it, and you might not like it. Now the men are doing what the women did. They want to wear women's clothes. Well, we're going to go to the women's clubs. We're going to go into women's sports. We're going to do this. So you invaded our territory where they need there to decompress. Now they're marching into the women's. And now women are all upset. Like they said, good for the goose is good for the gander. Remember that. So I always knew. We're making honey glazed spare ribs. We've got this going. We've got all of this going. We've got our pan lined with foil. You set your oven at 375. And now they want spare ribs, 3.5 to 4 pounds, but I got 3.5 pounds of baby back ribs. I happen to like them better. I'm partial to them. That's me. Okay, where'd you put it, guys? Dang. Where is it? I'll kill him. I can't find anything. I'm going to put my kitchen back together. Alright, they moved it. They moved it. I can't believe they did that. They're ruining me. Okay, so I'm going to rinse off this baby back rib and pat it dry before we do the next step. So I'm moving to the sink. Yeah, well, society has done that. It was very carefully orchestrated to destroy the family. My husband and I went through a hard time, and we were in a situation and they were trying to call me the head of the house. But it was known as welfare. We had to go there when he got hurt. And they did everything to break the family up. Literally. They took us to BCW with false charges. We were drugged through every court for years. It was for educational neglect. They were calling us because we didn't put our children in public school. And we spent a lot of time at the library, and my husband was doing research. And he found out that there's a law on the books that you parents can teach their children. So we took them out, and because we took them out, and they couldn't get the federal fund, they even told us point blank at the school, listen, just register your children. You can educate them yourself. We just want the money. And that's exactly what they said. So they really don't care about the children. And my husband said, no, you're not getting the money, and we're going to do it. And in the law, it states that they have to give you the school books and help you educate your children. We got, you know how much help we got? 0. Every year, we were in a different court for child educational neglect. And every time they tested our children, they were far ahead. So by the time they were 16 and 14, because they're 2 years apart, just by hours, what happened was they tested them. They tested our oldest son tested completely out of 4 years of college. He's already got the knowledge of 4 years of college. And our younger son was 2 years into college. He had 2 more years to go. They said there's nothing they could do. And this harassment went on every year from the time we took them out, which was for many, many years. The court said they had to give them a diploma because they passed. Didn't do that. Wouldn't give it to them. You would not believe, but they put us through. They even said he beat me. My husband never laid a hand on me. Well, he did spank me twice when I was pregnant. So he was punishing the children before they even came because I got the punishment. But he never abused me or anything else and never hit me. So when we went to court, it was a hot day. So I went in tights and a simple skirt, and the children were in shorts, you know, very comfortable. You could see. And one of the attorneys kept calling my name, and I was like, Tony, he wants us. He said, no, I don't want him, I want you. What they do when you go to family court, they put the woman over here, the man over here. They already put the separation of the family, and then the children, they pull the children away, and they have security holding your children. So you got 3 attorneys there. One for me, one for my husband, and the children. And I said, no, I'm not talking to you. This is my husband. I stand with my husband, and the children stand there, and we had a fight. We won, but it was a long, long battle. And the law that gives you that right was done in the 1920s or the 1930s. So I know. I talk about things I've been through. And I don't agree with the females today. I think they're acting more like sluts and whores. That's my personal opinion, and they should not get offended by the word, because they put themselves there. So people say, and I was talking with a woman good in the store, and she sat there and said, "We're not going back." This woman, and she said, "Why are you in a skirt in the store?" Because I wore a skirt to go shopping Friday. You saw me in my clothes. I had just come in, barely got my coat and hat off, and had to get things going because I was running really late. And I'm just patting the meat dry. I rinsed it. Yeah, I agree. So my husband basically told the government to off. I'm sure all of you know what I'm saying. And that we were going to raise our children our way. If they liked it or not, we didn't care. It didn't matter. Okay, we got this washed and rinsed. Why do I do it? I've been doing it all my life. I'm not going to stop now. Okay. I'm going to have to cut this in half. This is not going to fit. I know, you guys are probably thinking I'm crazy. Okay. Sandra, I hate having Band-Aids. Okay. Now we'll have one. So I believe very strongly in punishment. I believe very strongly that the sexes need time away from each other. I think they should respect each other. Like I said, my husband and his brother used to go to the Playboy Club. Didn't bother me. I didn't mind my husband going to the studio. He went to decompress. The studio was the art studio where he went. Oh yeah, children need the rod on their butt. They really, really do. And I think that people should tell the government to get out and stand up against the Board of Ed and everything else. Children don't go to school to sit there and learn about governments that don't work. All right? Remember, these are personal opinions. I'm not telling you you have to believe my way. I don't think it's the school's responsibility to teach communism, socialism, or any of that. They should be teaching the government of this country because it's our country. That's what our children need to learn. I think you need prayers back in school. I think we need to say the Pledge of Allegiance to start the day. And I think this first name business should go back to last names and respecting each other. My son introduced somebody to me, and he said, "What's your name?" I said, "Mrs. Hunt." He said, "No, what's your name?" I said, "Mrs. Hunt." That's the name I go by. You need kosher salt, and we're going to sprinkle this all over this meat. Okay? That's what they want us to do. So that's what we're doing. I wonder if they want me to rub it in, too. I'll go back to that cookbook in a minute. You want it rubbed in? No, they just said season it with salt, so that's what I'm doing. Okay, now we're going to do the other side. So, I think there's more respect from the time I grew up than the respect of today. You can see what I'm getting on here, the way people are very insulting. I even thought. So see, the phone has a bad point to it because you have idiots that are insulting on these pages, trying to put everybody down, which is wrong. Okay, now what do you want us to do with this? I'll be right there. Okay. All right. They want us now. I don't know if they want me to use the whole thing. Am I going to be braising it anymore? Okay, I did that. Meat is cooked. Okay. We are. We're not going to use all this honey mixture. I'm going to start on the other side. We're going to put some of this on, and we're going to rub it. This has got to be good. And I just think truffle mashed potatoes will go so nice with this. Another thing people don't think about is food has to be colorful. So it's very important you think of a color scheme as well when you're cooking. So you're going to rub this all over this meat. And we'll do it again after. You can imagine what this honey's going to do to this. Oh, it's got to be good. Okay. I'm going to pour some more on. The next time I pour it on, I'm going to have to use a brush because this is going to be extremely hot. And I don't wish to burn my fingers. Okay. Okay, now you're going to put rib side up. Okay, and we're going to, this Band-Aid's coming off. We're going to put this in the oven at 375. We're going to bake it for, let me see. We're going to cook it for 45 minutes. Oh, that'll be on the hour. And while that's going, we'll clean this mess up. We'll probably baste it at 30 minutes or pour it when we turn it over to do the next side. So let me get the stuff and we'll start those potatoes. I don't know if you guys have gotten that recipe. I did give it to you one time. I'm not sure. What I'm doing is cooking the bone side first because then we're going to flip them and I want them to be on the right side up. That's why we're starting on the wrong side first. Okay, if you cannot find truffles, you can get white truffle olive oil. It's really good. I should know. I've been enjoying it, as you can see. I've really used it. I know, I'm gonna have to heat it up. Let me get this penny out of here. Got that there. And I'm going to set you in here to get you to melt. All right, we need 1½ to 1 3/4 potatoes, and I'm going to have to peel them, which I don't like doing, so you don't have to remind me. Oh, almost there. I might want a little more than that. Do I want more? No, that should be good. Okay. I don't need anybody to tell me. Look, I was only talking about the time I was born, but you guys, listen, getting carried away. Now listen, you don't have to tell me the peelings are nutritious. I told you that. But I have 2 recipes that tells me I have to peel the potatoes. I tried them with the peelings and they don't work, so I'm going to have to peel them. Not that I'm happy about it, but I'll contend with it. And try not to cut my finger again. My son said, I saw you yesterday, Mommy. I knew you were going to cut yourself. I said, I was not. And then I did it. I said, would you please go get me some Band-Aids? Did anybody try making those biscuits yesterday? Hi, Amelia, good morning. Vic, good morning. Crow, good morning. Willie. Hi, King. Willie. Joseph. It's moving. Jacqueline. Listen, I'm going to say good morning as fast as I can, but I'm going to be missing some of you because it rolls real fast and I can't slow it down. Mr. Gott. I'm not going to say the last part of that. Chris. I am the one who told people about potatoes and it helps your hair, but I've done 2 recipes recently and I've had to peel the potato on both of them. I tried keeping them on when I made truffle. It did not go well, so I peeled the potato and tried it again and it came out really nice. Some recipes are very hard to make more nutritious, and I work around it, and sometimes I have to make it 4 or 5 times till I can figure a way that I can do it. But maybe if you use Maine potatoes, it might work better. I'm not sure. Right now I found a lobster salad I want to make. It's made with potatoes. It sounds interesting. I tell you what, I miss are bass sandals for the summer. I had a pair that last me for like ever, but now I can't find them. So many businesses are just trying to sell cheap things, which is really, really hard to find things that you want. Unless you make everything by scratch. So finding the material. Thank you, Sawyer. Okay. Hi, Antonio. And this isn't a potato like the ones that we use in America. My husband found this for me. I said, "Where'd you get that?" He just smiled. He wouldn't tell me. My grandmother used to, Sandra, you're going to cut your finger again. Yeah, I know. What the heck? My grandmother used to use a knife. She was good. I mean, she peeled it like this, really thin. I would sit there. She'd do all the potatoes, and I'd be the first one working on it. I don't know why I woke up with so many songs in my head this morning. So the person who asked me if I'm going to make chocolate chip cookies, yes I am. I'm going to be making chocolate chip cookies, but I'm not using chocolate this time. When I do this, I think of the time I learned at the hunting camp how to wash these things and not leave running water going, which was interesting. I tell you, one of the hardest things at the hunting camp was sleeping in a bed that had bed bugs. I woke up. I ended up in the hospital, and they told my mother. My mother found out that illegals had come through and they had broken into the hunting camp, and they had not cleaned up before they laid down, and the mattress was loaded. So I ended up sleeping on the floor with lots of blankets and everything. And at that hunting camp, we did not have running water or a bathroom. We had an outhouse, and we had a wood-burning stove. And we had a pot belly that you cooked it, you could use as a stew over the fireplace if you didn't have a stove. So I watched and I learned. Of course, I did that all the time. I watched and I learned. My mother said, observe people. You know what they're up to. So, yeah, I'm okay. Hi, Marcel. If you find it difficult finding what you would call a real woman, I'm just a woman, you can bet society has pressured her that to be a woman is not, you know, I mean, I couldn't believe what my a friend at the store had told me. Just because I had a skirt on, all of a sudden, where are you going all dressed up? I'm going shopping. And she said, well, I'd rather wear pants with lining. And she did not know, like I was saying, about the suffrage movement, which was interesting because I in Texas, and they always said Texas was 5 years behind the North. She didn't know about it. See, when Jane Fonda came, she was saying, you have to have a job. Suffrage movement said, if you wish to work, you can work. See, there was a difference in the movement. But a lot of women were just content. They just wanted the right to vote. But everything's, you know, so different today. And I have so many young women yelling at me, saying, you ruined my life. I wanted to be a wife and a mother. And they're yelling at me. And I said, excuse me. I was not for that. I had my rights, and they said, "What do you mean?" I said, "The suffrage movement. You should look it up and read it. You'll find you already had your rights all those time. Jane Fonda messed it up to where you don't have a choice now. You do not have a choice. If you marry, you have the choice. Your husband might give you the choice, you know? My husband gave me a choice. I yelled at him too. Because before that he was yelling at me, telling me, and I told him nobody ever asked me what I wanted. I was 20 some odd years old, and I still was not asked what did Sandy want. It was always what everybody else wanted to do. When I yelled at him, when he realized that I had never had a choice in my life about anything except him, he said, "All right, what do you want?" And I told him what I wanted. He said, "Okay." And he was happy with my decision. Okay, I'm going to chop these potatoes. Who taught me? My first job in the kitchen was greasing pans. My mother taught me the very simple basics. Then a very famous woman, Julia Child, and then after her, James Beard. Then after that, the ARE, and then after that, Adele Davis. And then after that, all my husband's friends were teaching me their kind of cooking. So I've had a lot of people teaching me, and when I read about nutrition, I was saying, how can I make my food more nutritious? So it was nutrition, spiritual balancedness, and well, the ARE did have a lot on nutrition and balancing. Like if you have a vegetable under the ground, you have to have two above it to balance it out, so your body doesn't become unbalanced and you get sick. And he taught me that it takes 4 generations to remove a disease from you, but each generation would have to eat really, really healthy. Hence this channel to show you. I had a lot of people influence me, but those are the main ones, you know, that got me going. And then people thought, well, if I take her cookbooks, I could sit there and learn to cook. It didn't work like that. All of this was just an accumulation of what you're seeing is a lifetime of learning and keeping my big mouth shut while I was listening. And that was 20 some odd years of stuff like that. And then, well, it has to go longer than that because I was still learning. I don't think you ever quit learning. But those are the main ones. So what I've learned, I share with you on this channel, hoping to help you so your family can be healthier. And I talk about some things I know about nutrition that I've learned to help you so you don't have to get sick and your whole paycheck in retirement goes to medication. So if you can stay healthy in retirement, you can enjoy retirement, you know, and then you wouldn't be in the poorhouse. Not that I'm, well, I'm not in the poorhouse, but let's say it's tight. Okay, we'll still have 40 minutes for that. Now remember, you only have to put the water 1 inch above your potatoes. And the potato water you can use to make bread and rolls. Above is like you have, see, I have potatoes here, and I'm going to serve beets, pickled beets. Those are both grown under the ground. And I'm going to sit there and with it, I'm going to have broccoli with it, which is above the ground. I need another vegetable. I have to think of something. Or I might serve fruit. But when they say below the ground, they're talking about beets and onions and, hey, truffles are above the ground. No, truffles are below the ground too. Stuff like that. Potatoes are below the ground. You know, greens, spinach, zucchini, squash, tomatoes, peppers. All of those things are above the ground, but when you go below the ground, you think of parsley root, parsnips, you think of turnips, you think of carrots, and these are things like that. You balance them out like that. Yeah, I pickled some beets during canning season. I didn't do as much canning this year. Money was a bit tight. So I wasn't allowed to do what I had to do. But we're going to boil these potatoes, and I've got to get the butter and stuff together. All right. They want us to use, I'm not using it. I don't care what he says. I'm not using it. They want me to use kosher salt, which would not give me iodine. And I need iodine. We all need it. We'll also need 4 tablespoons of butter. I'm just going to cut. Boy, if you saw some of those things I do. Okay. Now these are for the potatoes, what we're doing now. What's the ratio of half and half again? Okay. I have to go get my cookbook. I cannot remember the ratio of half and half. Okay, if you're making half and half, this is a recipe to make the original half and half. Hi, Bella. Snap. Okay, Willie. Oh, God. So if you like half and half, it's very easy. It's 3/4 of a cup of milk and 1/4 of a cup of heavy cream. You blend it together or shake it or stir it together, and that's half and half. I gotta put half and half on my shopping list. Just take a fork or shake it up whichever way you want, and you have it. Now, if you're going to make it for coffee, I strongly recommend that you take it out and let it sit to room temperature. Yeah, the sun's coming up. Spring is around the corner. I'm sorry. Yes, that's what I'm making, half and half. That's it. Now, as I was telling you, if you're going to sit there and use half and half, take it out in the morning before everybody gets up and give it time to go to room temperature. And my father used to have to shake it up before he put it into his coffee. Okay? freshly ground white pepper. And we're also going to use white peppercorns in this. So as you can see, they want kosher salt, but I'm using iodized salt. You'll need 4 sticks of butter. You're also going to need 1 cup of heavy cream. I don't know, a cup of half and half. I don't know if we're going to use all of it, and we're going to need white peppercorns, okay? All right. 26. All right, in about 4 minutes, we're going to baste the meat a little more. I know. Yeah, I haven't seen it for a while since autumn, so now it's coming back around. I'm sorry it's blinding you. It will quit after a while. It's almost at the top, so you won't have much longer to go. And I should not be looking at the sun because that is not good for your eyes. Whoa, now I can't see. Wait a minute. I take the glare off my eyes. Let's see. Boy. I can't see your names right now because I looked into the sun. I'll stand here a bit. Anyway, that's what we're going to be using for the truffle mashed potatoes, and we've got the truffle oil going here, which I melted. This is addictive. This is really. I'm no angel. I'm as human as you are, believe it or not. I'm just being more honest about a lot of things, but some things I won't talk about because I do not wish to. I couldn't deal with the hurt and I'll start crying. What question? Oh, well. I'm sorry it's giving you a glare. There's just nothing I can do. Because I use that sun. In the summer, it lights up my whole kitchen, which I really, really like. And when I can open the back door, oh, it's so nice in my kitchen. Then I get all excited about sitting there. What can I make? Okay, so we're waiting for the potatoes. We got the salt. We got the truffle oil. We're getting ready to baste. Okay, we're going to be basting now. Hold on. I have to get a brush. Now, I'm not taking it out. I'm actually going to just pull the tray out and do it right here. Whoa. Everything's getting too... Oh, that smells good. Sticky, but good. I hate to tell you, it really does smell good. Coriander is going to give it a unique taste. It's also going to be crunchy because I didn't sit there and put it in powder. I'm sorry about that. I don't cook shit, sir. true, snap. Here's the truffle oil. That's the only one I could find. And my store does not get truffles, so I cannot do that. Right now we're cooking one side and then we're going to be turning them over in the hour. I think they said 45 minutes for this side. Yeah, we're cooking these first for 45 minutes on this side, then we're going to be turning them over for the next side. Oh, this is going to be spicy. I cannot wait to have this. I looked for that recipe. I lost this recipe. I said it's in one of my cookbooks. When you have that many cookbooks, you lose recipes. I still can't find Basting glaze yet, and I'm still trying to look for that. I promised you that recipe months ago, and I'm still trying to find it. So I'm hoping in the summer, maybe, they will have it. Yes. Yeah. No, I actually cook early because they take it to work. So I have to, and one works early in the morning, and then the other, sometimes he works late at night, and then the other one works the evening shift. He doesn't come in until the morning. Then when I get up, he's going, listen, my schedule's so messed up. It's very hard. It's okay, Willie. Okay, the potatoes are cooking now. As soon as they're done, we'll start putting them together. Okay, I'm going to need a mat and strainer. You would think 7 to 8 measuring cups would be more than enough for me. No, I need more. I'm starting to buy measuring cups again. I just really go through them. Okay. I'm saving the water on this because I'm going to have to make some bread. So I'm going to go ahead and use the potato water, and that the yeast loves. So we can help them give us. No, I do not cook for the homeless. We're big eaters in this house. Yeah, I did a sloppy Joe. I'll have to see if I can find it again, but I do have a good recipe for sloppy Joe. Just give me time to find it. I think it was the one that had root beer in it. It really came out nice. Okay, I know you're saying root beer. Yeah, I used root beer in it. So I'll find it. Let's see, but give me time because we got over 200 cookbooks, so you know I got a lot to look for. Plus, I take care of a house. I have animals that I take care of as well. Hi, Derek. Vic, it's going fast again. Quito? I'm just gonna call you Castro. It's easier. Well, I admit that I'm not perfect. I've done some stupid things, you know. I'm not going to sit there and say something, you know, like I sit there and one time I had to describe something, what I thought of this new thing that was coming out in the market. When I got done, they threw me off. And they didn't like what I said, but I told the truth. I told them, go back to the drawing board. This is crap. There's no support in it. It doesn't work. But the lace was pretty, but I wouldn't tell them that because they wanted to know how was the support. So I told them, it doesn't work. Go back to the drawing board. It doesn't do anything. 6-year-old kids, I don't know what you're talking about. All right, paring knife. Where'd you put it? I don't have one. Am I going to rice these? I bet you I'm going to have to rice these. Yeah, I knew it wanted to rice it. That's why you had me peel. Okay. Now, the 4 tablespoons of butter. You better cut them in pieces because you won't get this whole thing melted of how these potatoes are put together. So I'll make about 5 slices. Let me see. Yes, those are the potatoes. See, I used to go to school before they had lunches, and because I went to parochial school, we had to bring our lunch. My mother would prepare everything for us. And sometimes if she had fried chicken left over, we could have that, or we'd have sandwiches. We never knew what we were going to get. But she always made sure, because children will do this, she always made sure there was a piece of candy in it, because she knew when we got to school, before school started, we would sit there and have a piece of candy. All right, we pretty much got everything. I want these measuring spoons back. I need them. Okay. Let me see if I can find one. They're almost done, and then we'll get those going. And I bet you they're going to be on top of each other, and I'll have to do 2 things at once. Mass, South Central, disgusting language. We got out of it. We had that storm come through, right? And then the next thing we knew is we got 3 days. It was like, oh God, we could go to the beach at 32 degrees because we actually went above freezing a bit. And then just the other night, we were, the chill was 14 below zero. 14, and that wind was howling. And I said, I am really cold. I couldn't find any place to go. I could not get warm enough. And I had to do wash on that day. And the washroom is separate from the house, so I had to go outside to go around, go into the washroom. Just taking 10 steps, my hands, they were cold. It was really bad. We're coming out of it today. We're going to have a high of 32, probably 31, but they're saying 32. And then we'll be hitting the 30s and 40s, so it'll be more comfortable where you can do that. Where did I live? I lived in Beeville, Texas. My parents got a divorce, and my mother drug us north. I'm in New York State. Hi, Vicki. Okay. Between those ribs and the potatoes, my kitchen is smelling really, really good. No, I have never been to Los Angeles, never. Oh, hi. Okay, Dell. Well, I've had a long life and I've learned a lot of things. And because I remember the past and how it was and here, and because my father took us to the hunting camp, I learned that way of life. And then my husband introduced me to so many people from different cultures and things and everything else. He had one set of friends who were, well, we used to say queer, okay? The females. This was the term that we used at that time, and she came after me. I didn't know what was going on because I keep my head above all that. I didn't want to. I just said, no, what goes on in the bedroom is your business. I don't want to know about it. I told my husband what she was doing, and he got on her case and said, get away from her. And then I saw her, 20, 30 years later, because she said she's a full-blown lesbian. 20, 30 years later, I see her on the subway, and she is with a young man. Now, she's like 50 or 60, and she's got this 20-year-old. And I said, that woman has never learned. And she was a terrible artist, by the way. Now, Helen, she was, oh God, she was good. Helen was good. Hugh Miller was good. Helen Lau was good. My husband was good. And I met the guy who did the smiley face, and he told me that somebody stole his idea and he patented it. That guy is making millions, and he said, I'm left in poverty, and it was my idea. So whenever you see an artist painting and he has a sheet thrown over it, you're not supposed to pick it up and see what he's doing. You only see it when it's done, because it doesn't look good till it gets to that point. Okay. Sandra, why'd you turn it off? You have to turn it back off. Yeah, I know. I guess. Don't worry, I'm going to bring you over. Everybody knows how to boil potatoes, so I don't think you needed to see that. You should not have turned this off. You knew you needed it. Yeah, I know, I know. Okay, this is how you dry your potatoes out before you mash them or rice them or anything. You want to get the extra fluid out. That's why some potatoes have a tendency to be more wet than they should be. I gotta move this. I just don't have any room here. All right, so I got the flame on again, which I should not have turned off. You're going to put the potatoes in here, and you're going to toss them around until it causes a film on the bottom. We need this to make bread, so this goes over here. Oh, let's see if I can get you to see the... Yes, I do have a ricer. We are going to rice them, but right now we're drying the potatoes out. What this does is takes any excess water off it before you get there. I'll show you how fast it happens. See? See how it leaves that film? That's what you want. That takes any excess water off of this. Now we're going to rice this. I have to get it in a bowl, then I'm going to put it back. You know what? I am really using a lot of bowls today. So I'm going to use this. I have to put them back in. All right. Let's get over here. All right. You want to know what kind of ricer I have? I have a Zoulet. That sounds so French, doesn't it? Zoulet. Okay. I'm going to put some potatoes in here. Now you cannot leave your peelings on if you're using a ricer. Rice are actually somewhat more for what we're going to be doing. That's why some of them say rice and the other ones say don't rice. See, a lot of people don't use a lot of different recipes. They get accustomed to what they like on some simple dishes, and she'll keep on making them. Now, some women who love to cook, but they're stressed out, I can understand that they'll stick to just basic recipes that they make, that they know. It becomes like a comfort food for them when they're under extreme stress. I understand that. Some people use sweets or things like that. Because when I was depressed over losing my husband, I think I made the same meal every week. The same stupid meals. This was just not functioning. And my son had to get me back into cooking. He was saying, come on, Mommy, you've got to eat. And I said, I'm not hungry. He said, please, just eat. One son was trying to keep the house up, and the other one was trying to keep me standing. So they had their hands full. But that's what a family does. They come together when something happens. Yeah, I'm making a mess. Use the back of your knife for this. My son thought I was using the front of the knife. I said, no, you messed my blades up. All right. You're going to need a hot pot, so since your pot's hot, you're going to put this back in there to do what you have to do. Why do I use straw mats? For those who don't know, don't want to burn your counter. If you use your pot holders, you burn your pot holders. Okay. Now you're going to start adding this butter. And you're going to stir this around as the butter melts. You don't want it to melt in one spot. You want it to go all over the potatoes. And you notice I did not add any salt to my potatoes when I was boiling them. That's because I was planning to use the water to cook with, which I'm going to do. I'll probably start some bread today. I haven't made any white bread in a while. Why not butterscotch muffins? That would be interesting with nuts, wouldn't it? Butterscotch. See, I'm doing this and I'm thinking, and I go in a totally different direction. Isn't that wild how that happens? Okay. I'll put your last 3 pieces in here. Do I have a saucepan? No, yeah, I do. What I'm going to do is I'm going to heat this half and half up. Okay? I'm not going to boil it. I just want to take the chill off of it because we're going to be stirring it in. And I want to make sure the potatoes stay hot. Oh, come on. Thank you. Why didn't I heat it up before? Because you could end up burning it because it's heavy cream and you don't want to burn the heavy cream. And the reason you do this in the pot, because your pot is hot. So it'll help melt the butter and it won't cool down before you get all this done. And after we get the milk in it, we'll add the oil and salt and pepper and stir it in. I'm so used to seeing stuff in my potatoes, mashed potatoes. But you can see they look really, really nice. Yes, I put in 4 tablespoons of butter. Now that we've got the butter pretty much melted, the half and half should be warm when we put it in here. You don't want it boiling because then the cream and the milk will not gel together. All right, well that's going. I'm going to start putting black pepper in here. White pepper, I mean. They don't tell you how much to put in because everybody has a different amount that they like to add. Now you're not adding all of it in because you don't know if you're going to be using it all. So please be aware of that. As you can see, there's a lot of extra steps when you go to make something. It's care and love in cooking. It's just like if you sew. If you're going to make something, you want to do it right. You don't want to mess it up. You see? If a man's building a home or you're building something, or making something, you want it to be the best you can do. You don't want it sloppy. That's why people buy stuff. It's easier because they have no skills to be creative. From the time I was little, I've been crafting one thing or another. I think that's why when I do certain things, I get ideas and they just start floating through my head. Don't you think butterscotch would be nice as muffins? Just think about it. This Band-Aid's going to come off and this finger's going to burn and get hurt and start acting up again. Out really creamy now. Different. Got good volume. Come on, Band-Aid, don't come off. Really need you to stay today because of what I've got to do today. See, if you like your potatoes a little stiff, you'll be using less of the half and half. If you like yours more creamy, you'll be using more of it. think that might be enough salt. Well, it looks like I'm going to use all of my half and half. Now we're going to add truffle into this. I'm going to add 2 teaspoons and adjust it accordingly. I just think the baby back ribs with the candy glazed and this will go excellent together. That is a sin. Truffle mashed potato. You know, there's a few recipes I say are a sin. Regulars are a sin. This is a sin. There's some things that are just a sin. And toffee, English toffee, is another sin. Yes, I'm going to use a potato water to make some bread. Yeah, I want to try making butterscotch, and I think I'm going to add, let's see, butterscotch is so buttery, right? And I think if you put pecans with them, roasting them so you bring out that extra oil flavor, or another nut, it'd be interesting. You have to say it'd be interesting. I've never had a recipe like that. This is a pot. If you want to lick a pot, this is a pot you would want to lick. This is really good. I've made this 3 times, and I just think it's going to go good with today, too. It definitely surprised your family. You say, what? Oh, good, we're having mashed potatoes. They're going to think of one thing, and then you do this, they're going to go, oh, that's good. But you might have to keep truffle oil around the house afterwards. Oh. This is really good. Remember, salt and pepper is to your choice, you know. There it is. I'd sit down and eat the whole bowl. You notice the sun's out of the way now. Okay. Now we've got to get to these ribs. Right on the hour. Yay! All right, guys, I'm going to take you out for a minute because I have to fix this. Don't, Sandra, spill it. Thank God. Turn your oven off and we're going to reset it. Now you're going to turn it to 425, your oven, because these are not done yet. All right. We got to turn these over. How am I going to do this? Oh. gotta use. I gotta use my fingers. Okay, and you thought they were going to stick. This is very tacky. All right, I want to get some of this fluid off. I think it's going to overflow, so I want to get rid of some of this. Should have used my broiling pan. They should have said that. Would have been better. She was probably thinking of a deeper pan. The way she said it, it sounded like it didn't matter. But if you're going to do this dish, make sure you use a broiled pan. You don't need the top, you need the bottom. And just follow the steps. So I told you, I don't have everything I need, and sometimes I have to make things work. Okay. Now your oven's at 425, and we're going to finish cooking them now. All right, so the first time we did it was 45 minutes. Now they want us to do it. All right, they want us to cook it until, I got a lot of books out, trying to get everything together. For another 30 minutes, basting once or twice more until the meat is cooked through and the glaze is a dark brown. That's what we're going to be doing. That's one cookbook. Here's another cookbook going. Okay, I got a broccoli head here. And you see how green it is? That's what you need. You don't want to see these things flowering, because once they start flowering, they're very, very bitter. I still have more of this. This stuff is tacky. Well, that's okay. So we're almost done cooking. All right, I always cut that off because it's dry on the bottom. You see? Some people don't do that. No, not for this dish. To make your roux. What do I need a roux for? What would I need a roux for? Now see, this is a healthy broccoli. It's not split in the center here. We used to, it causes cancer. This is when you could tell a plant, cauliflower, something that have a big hole in the middle here. That's cancer. It's a cancerous plant. So they told us, oh, well, just cut that part off and keep on eating it. Hello. It doesn't work like that. If it's cancerous, you just don't buy it. If you find it's cancerous after you buy it, you throw it out. See, my mother would throw the whole stem out. This is what she liked to do. And then she would cut it down right down here where you only had the flower on it. But I said, no, I like it. You know, we keep it. And sometimes you don't have to make your vegetables tiny or small for the mouth. You can leave them chunky. They look very nice on the dish. So you don't always have to think, oh, I've got to cut it really small. Because that's what they do in the freezer department. Just like when they do cottage cheese. You saw me make cottage cheese. And you saw that, oh God, this Band-Aid's going to come off. All right, maybe you'll stay. And you saw that I made a bowl. The next day, it had absorbed that fluid. They will take maybe less than a half a cup or a cup, and they'll add a bunch of cream or milk or whatever they're going to use in it. I use heavy cream because I like the flavor. It's richer. And they'll sell it like that. So by the time you get it, those kernels have swollen up. Then you get that moist cottage cheese. If you get it too early, you'll notice the cottage cheese seems more watery. So I make my own, and it's dry. And if I'm going to serve it, I can just take, and I want to serve it, but I want it more moist. So what I have to do is, before I bring it to the table of the bowl, I'll sit there and add more heavy cream to it till I get the consistency that I want. And I'm sure I could make almost 5 to 10 containers of cottage cheese, and they would be making a lot of money off of it. You see, so I do things this way. I save money, and also it doesn't go bad as fast. As soon as you open a container, you have to realize that it's going to go fast, and there's nothing you can do about it because it's already been sitting around. And it seems a lot of you like the cottage cheese recipe because over 6,000 of you have viewed it. Now these, you notice I'm not putting any oil in the pan. I just got the pan, and this is what I'm going to do with it. Now, when you go to check for these, this will be your telltale. Will be actually the stems will be your telltale. Unless you get a really thick part. Let me see if I can find a thick one like this. If you have a thick one, then you check the stem on this one. And all you do is stab it and just spread it a little. And if it goes, they're done. I'm just rinsing them right now. Now, how much water am I going to use? Because I don't want to lose the nutrients that are in here. Now, if I put a lot of water in here, I'm going to lose these nutrients, which you don't want to lose because you want your health and you need those nutrients for your body to stay healthy in everything that you eat. So the object is not to pour a lot of water in this. All right, you're going to use about 1/4 of an inch of water. I mean, we're talking very little water. You're going to keep an eye on it, though, because it might run out. What you're going to do, you're going to put them on. Oh, come on. Shoot. Why are you giving me problems today? You can keep an eye on this because this is going to boil very, very fast. As soon as it starts to boil, and I mean, you'll see it. You put the lid on, you'll see the steam coming up on the side. You're going to turn it down and let the steam cook, and that's the trick of it. You actually are going to steam them, but because you have a low flame, you don't need a lot of water. You're not boiling them, you're steaming them. So if you have any nutrients left a little bit, you can add it into a jar. Use it for soups, gravies, or any pasta, rice, whatever you're cooking. and throw it in, and you could take those nutrients. You're not losing them, and you're recycling them and getting everything. You might not get it today because you didn't make a soup or something, or a rice, but you'll have it in your refrigerator. And do I mix mine up? Sure I do. If I have a jar started, I'm just going to keep on adding to it. This is me. If I don't have any, I go into my stockpile that I have, and I'll use it. Okay, June. And hello from America to Brazil. Vicky. Truffle mashed potatoes and broccoli with pickled beets. And I've already pickled my beets. Okay, we got everything done except this last part. And we'll wait a bit. Now this is a dish that I want to make this summer. You got to hear this. It really sounds good. Not this week. We got to wait till probably May. But listen, this is lobster and potato salad with tarragon. We're going to use small cream potatoes. We'll have coarse salt. We're going to have green beans in it. We're going to use red bell pepper and a fresh cooked lobster meat, black pepper, heavy cream, mayonnaise, and chopped tarragon. Doesn't that sound delicious? I'm going to be making that. I just think it's going to be delicious. I actually fell into that recipe, believe it or not. I was looking for something else and I go, whoa, wait, what? And I started reading. This is a very bad habit. So I did buy ground meat. Somebody asked me to make a meatloaf. It'll be a health food meatloaf. I have to make bread for it because I'm going to use sourdough bread, I think, in it. And so that's going to take a while for me to get that going, but not today. Now, the next cook-along I do, I don't know if it's going to be a dish that I'm going to make or a dessert yet, but we'll make something. I want to make calzones. What is it called? Cheeseburger calzones. And I have to make biscuit mix. I make my own. Because if you read the packages, you'll see that there is a preservative in it. The reason there's a preservative in it is because they add oil into it. And the oil will go rancid if it sits out. That's why they say, oh, leave it in a dark spot. No, rancid has to sit there and go in the refrigerator. If they gel up hard like olive oil, like truffle oil, you know you've got a good oil. Yeah, tablecloth. So that's what I like to do. I haven't decided what. I don't know if it'll be a main dish, but I do want to make calzones with cheeseburger. I read it, so we'll be making the biscuit. I'll probably make it a day or two ahead of time because I'm not going to do all those dishes, to redo dishes, have 2 videos at one time. Oh, my potatoes are good. Even cold, it's good. Okay, the broccoli is cooking. So I'm going to turn it so far down and keep an eye out because there's very little water in it. It might run out and I might have to add more, but I don't want to add any more than I have to. What am I doing for the show? I'm cooking. I'm showing people how they can cook nutritionally, how they can utilize what they have in the house for their health and their family's health, if you care. That's why I talk about these companies that put food out there and everything else. We didn't have some diseases, and since they start, I remember when they put what was it? DPT or PTT or something, a chemical that causes cancer. I remember when it came out and they put it in the food as a preservative, and people's cancer went up on the rise. Cancer went up on the rise very, very fast. They had it in all the cans for the animals. They had it. In all the meals that were pre-made and stuff. Oh God, the report on that was unbelievable, and the people couldn't sue the company. Oh, I need this, Cindy. You're gonna have to take the ribs. No, I'm gonna put them on a plate. Just getting a platter. Yeah, I still have them there. They're cooking. They're going to be a beautiful green because they didn't overcook them so fast that they ended up losing their beautiful color. No, it was something else. It was back in, let's see, I came up here in 60. My parents got a divorce in 68, 69. It was the early 70s. I remember it was the early 70s. One of them had two T's in it. One had a D in it. But it was just a code that they had given. They wouldn't tell you what it was, but people found out. Well, as you can see, I use very little pre-made tree. No, not OCD, Vicki. It had a double T in it. The Vietnam War was going, and it was like, and they said it worked great on the killing the insects and stuff, but then people started getting cancer. And we ended up a lot of new diseases. I just can't remember what it is, but I know when I see it, I'll step back because I know how dangerous it is. Crystal, that might be it. DDT. Yeah. If you see that, if you remember seeing that, if you were old, that might have been it. But and there another one they used had a P in it as well. Those were two very popular. We were seeing it in the food, and my mother was and she was very upset when she heard about it. Yeah, DDT was one, yeah, but the other one had a P in it, and I can't remember what it was. So you must have been, Vicki, you must be close to my age to know. I know, Crystal, you must be close to my age to know that. Because I was, how old was I? I was 15. Let's say I was about 17, 18 at the time. Because so that would be the early 70s, right before the war ended. Because we walked away from it. Wait till you see the greens and how pretty these things are. See, when you get to be old, you'll see what was, and you see how things change, and that helps you. Yeah, Vicki, you're very fortunate. Yeah, I'm 10 years older than you. So you would have been, let's see, if I was 17, you would have been 7 years old. Did your father come back with problems from Vietnam?
because, you know, Ancient Orange was really a problem. It caused a lot of cancer and diabetes. It also caused a lot of diabetics and people where it didn't even run in the family, so it did affect the family. Yeah. So the young people probably say, oh, it's always been around. No. Dementia, uh, cancer and stuff was not prominent until they started adding this stuff to our food and using it in the ground and stuff. It's coming back to bite us, as you want it, as we could say. What comes around goes around. But I do hope you guys try some of these recipes because they're really, really good. This one I've not had. The honey glazed ribs I haven't had. But I have had that. The truffle. I could go over there and eat half of those mashed potatoes. They are just that good. Well, I don't smoke, so I wouldn't know that, Damien. I went to get a glass of water. Does that bother you? What do you want me to do? Turn you around so you can watch me drink some water? No, some traumas I don't talk about. Okay, let's see. This is a thick one. Yeah, very good, Sandra. You want to see it now? Now you saw how little water I put in this, right? This is the beautiful green. Look at this. Isn't that beautiful? Where's the water? I have a couple of tablespoons, and that's it. So when we get done eating the broccoli, I'll take that water and put it to the side so I can use it. And that's it. We're just waiting for the meat now. And there's nothing we can do about that except wait. But that's how pretty the green is when you do it like this. They're not drowning, you're not pulling all the nutrients out. When your vegetables can hold their colors, you're leaving a lot of nutrients in them. So that's very important. I'm so hungry this morning. This is ridiculous. Now I'm getting hungry. We don't need that. We have to wait. There's nothing I can do right now. We have to wait. So I'm going to stuff my face with some fruit. Okay? You know, I have a big kitchen, but my counter space is like 2 by 3 feet. So it's very, very frustrating. I want to redo this kitchen so bad. I want to take the fireplace out. I want to put cabinets there. A counter. I want a counter where I can hook my pasta machine here in my sausage stuffer and be able to bring in my my chocolate machine. I just have no room. I'm sorry to hear that, Vicki. Well, I make it work. My mother taught me that. Because at a honey camp, you don't have counter space. Okay, we got about 5 more minutes. When I cook, I get so hungry. Was your father a grunt, Vicki? Mine was Force Recon. Me? This world is crazy. No, I can't say this world. Mother Earth knows what she has to do. We got crazy people on the earth. Mm. So, I guess none of you have made the biscuits. Okay. But I hope you try the truffle mashed potatoes, because I would say if you don't, you're going to be missing a nice surprise, okay? I got a sink full of dishes. I got counter. My kitchen's getting crowded again. But I have to clean these burners off so I can get the pan here so we can take those ribs off and we'll be done. That's correct. Everybody goes and tells everybody what to do. I've learned one thing in life, and I've learned this, though people say it's not so. You hear me sometimes, I'll repeat myself 3 or 4 times because people are going to want to hear what they want to hear. They don't want to hear the truth. And they'll half, as they say, they half listen to you and then they say it doesn't work. This is why I'll repeat to make sure you get it down again and again until maybe something clicks inside. If you feel you need to see somebody, fine. Other people live. My father, if you talk to him when he was alive, he'd say he does no wrong. He does nothing wrong. He is perfect in everything he does. He was thoroughly convinced. He was absolutely perfect. Oh, you people. Oh, God, this smells good. I can go. I tell you, this meal is going to be delicious, and I'm going to be a pig at the table. No, I said goodbye to my parents. But it was funny. My husband's family loved me. They were so happy with me. I got along with his great aunt, his mother, his father. I got along with his brothers. Now, his sister was another story. Hi, Elizabeth. Everybody has a story. But you don't sit there and whine about it. We all hurt one way or another. We all carry our crosses. What is done to us is because we did it to them in another life. So you have to know what they felt like and learn from it. Learn that if you have the hurt and stuff, you know, it's because of how they felt when you did something to them in another life. So you come back not remembering it. So you can go through the rawness of how they felt. You help people because they helped you. You don't help everybody, but you have certain people that you help. That's because those people helped you. And that's what it is. And if you wish to forgive them, that's great. Like I said, I walked away from my parents. Do I really want to see them again? No, because I don't want to be hurt anymore. Not that I hate them. But they gave me a lot of hurt, and I don't want to see them again. But I probably gave them a lot of hurt in another life, so I had to know how they felt. And that's how I perceive it. That's how I look at it. So if I'm hurt, I know that I have done it to somebody. And if you want to get out of that karma of hurting each other from one life to another, you sit there and you give it to God and you forgive them. That's why Christ said, if you are angry with thy neighbor, before you close your eyes, go to bed, you go and apologize. So you don't carry that anger, so you can clear the air. Hi, Gary, and good morning to you. So a lot of people can say what they want, but that's how I perceive things. It gives me great comfort in my life, so I understand when things happen to me. DJ, you must be some psycho analyst because you're playing with people. You can't do that. What I am stating point blank is that you might have said and then done something, and now you have to deal with it. We all have to deal with it. I had to deal with what my father did. I couldn't deal with him anymore. I just got tired of him. I got tired of my mother. I got tired. And I said, no more. I've done it. All right? I paid. But my mother's a grudge carrier. So I sit there and wish her the very best. I hope she got over her karma and that she can move forward. I don't want any more karma. If she wants to carry it on, she can carry it on, but I'm not going to have a hand in it. I'm going to let her go. You get blessings from people, that's because you've done it. You've done it to them. You've got to know all of this. Yes, that's true, because that's the karma you gave somebody, so you're having to pay for it. That's why it gives you what you can deal with. Okay, we're going to check these. Oh, no, yeah, you better put foil. These things have really, I didn't expect them to do this, but they did. Oh, these look good. I'm going to get them off the pan. The foil, you can see the honey and stuff has burnt. We're going to get these off. Ouch. Yes, I burnt my finger. You can't say that. You cannot say that, DJ. You do not know her past lives that have brought her to this point. You can't say that she doesn't deserve it. You don't know. So you can get off that high horse. Okay? Now I'm going to show this. Here it is. Honey glazed ribs. That's them. And you can't say. But the pan, do use foil if you make this recipe. Do exactly like they say, because it burnt on the foil. All right? So anyway, I'm going to let you guys go. Thank you for being with me this morning. I'm still going to think about those butterscotch muffins. They really do sound good, don't they? And we use dark brown sugar in the muffins instead of white sugar. We could add some vanilla into it. You see where I'm going? See, this happens to me all the time. I'm there and I'm cooking and I'll think of a pattern that I have to go crochet. You know, it comes out of my head. Maybe he has a YouTube channel and trying to get people to go to his channel. Okay, D-Rise. DJ, maybe you are trying to think about being a mental doctor and you want to open a YouTube channel, so you go to other YouTube channels and see if you can do that. You shouldn't. If you want a YouTube channel, you make your own and let people decide if they wish to see and speak with you. Just because people offer up information does not give you the right or the authority to tell them what to do with their lives. Nobody has a right. I can't tell you to cook this way, but I cook this way and I'm 73. You can look at my face, you can look at me, and you can see the food and the way I make it more nutritious. And if you choose to, you may. If you don't, you don't have to. But when you get my age and you're sick, hello, you did it. All right? But we all have choices. This is the beauty of America. We decide what we take control of our own lives, and we do what we have to do. And you can't go and tell somebody what to do. A psychiatrist, social worker could sit there and listen to you, and they can ask questions to help you figure things out. If you wish to go, you shouldn't have to go, and nobody has a right to tell you to go. They can say, would you like to talk to somebody? Have you ever thought you can make a suggestion in that direction? But you cannot, no matter what they say, give that kind of comment and tell them, I think. No, you don't think. You can sit there and suggest, but you don't go and tell people what to do. I suggest, and this is how I cook. If you wish to cook this way, fine. If you don't, fine. But it's always a choice. Americans have that individually. That's why we come in with the way that we are. We're all very unique. We don't need people to tell us to go out and do things. We sit there and decide what we want. I don't decide the lives for my sons. They're grown. But they make their own decisions. If they wish to talk to me, that's one thing. If they sit there and ask my opinion, I will give it then. But I can only bring information from my life that I know and transfer it. Like I told my son, milk and coffee is a poison. Man, he argued with me 30 minutes. I said, you know what, Danielle? I'm not going to talk to you. And he finally came back and he said, why would you say that, Mommy? I said, in a reading from the ARE, he says that milk, the chemicals in milk and coffee or tea, when you mix them up and you have them together, it causes a slight disruption, which is a form of poison because it can't break it down properly because it's not, the foods don't go well together. So it gives, I guess you could say an acid, I don't know what it does, but it interferes with the digestion. And once something interferes with the digestion, it becomes poison. And you can, when you have coffee with milk in it, you'll notice that you get a little more swollen after you have it. And if you belch, you have that funny taste in the back of your throat. So what he says is true. You see? Now, if you sit there and have a lot of sodas, but I'll tell people, you can still have milk in your coffee. I'm just going to tell you, just like you want to have sodas, you continue having sodas. The thing is the soda is carbonated. And when you swallow a lot of air in that soda, you belch. But you also pass a lot of wind in the other direction. But it seems through the reading, it talks that when that air comes through, the nutrients at that part of the intestines has that air pocket. The food goes right past it. It doesn't get it. That's why he said flat cokes are very good for you. Carbonated is not good for you. You see? Coffee and tea, they don't go well with milk. Now, I'm only bringing the information. Now, are you going to listen? That's up to you. Are you going to change the way you're doing it? I don't know. My son sat there and said, okay, Mommy, that's what Casey says. I said, okay, well, listen, you can do what you want. I have black coffee. Well, it's tocino. It's chicory root. I can take that. And so he decided for a whole week he'd just have black coffee. And at the end of the week, he said, Mommy, that taste in the back of my throat, and I'm not bloated. I said, hello? But if he didn't want to listen, there's nothing I can do. You see, this is how life is. They're not going to stop me.
You don't have to worry. You can't tell her. You can't tell him about abuse. You can't. Because you don't know what they, in another life, they abused the people that abused them in this life. So you can't say that. And that person has to suffer to understand how they hurt somebody in another life. So see, you're still wrong in that. You cannot, and you're still telling her or him, who's, I don't know if it's male or female, you don't have a right to tell that person. You may think it, but you have no right because you don't know if it was done to her in another life. If, just setting up a circumstance, a husband and wife, and when she got pregnant and had children, he beat her up all the time because he wasn't happy with her. Do you think he got away with that? No, he doesn't. She has to stay with him and they'll live the life, and she has to live like that. That's how it was. Well, they're going to have to come back and face each other, except the man who did the beating to the person will now be beaten by the person that they beat in another life. So see, you can't say somebody isn't supposed to suffer. You can't say they don't deserve this or they deserve this or anything else, because you don't know what they've done in the past. Only one person knows everything about us, and that's God. And he sets these things in motion, that if you hurt somebody, you have to come back and feel the same hurt and how they felt, so you fully comprehend what you have done to make that person, the hurt that they carried to that whole life, you have to carry in this life. So we get away with nothing with our words, with our actions, nothing, even our thoughts. And the one part of your body that'll bring you to hell each and every time is that thing that sits between your teeth. Your tongue. That will bring you down each and every time. So always be careful and always remember that when you do this. If you suffer something or you've been abandoned, it's because in another life you abandoned. And you didn't know how they felt when you abandoned them. You see? So now you have to deal with the abandonment and the hurt through your life. So you know how they felt, so you'll never do it again. And this is the lessons we learn. All right? So listen, think about it, but you can say whatever you want. This is how it works. No, you still don't understand, DJ, but that's all right. You're in your own world. Like I said, you take what you want and you discard the other. A lot of people do that. Everybody. I'll say everybody because everybody does. Okay? Yeah, well, if you don't like them, you have my right to delete their comments that are so stupid, okay? I tell you, listen, just have a great day today, okay? I wish all of you the very best. And for you who think that people don't deserve things, don't deserve something to happen to them, you probably have had things happen to you and you don't think you deserve them. Well, that's because you've done it to somebody else and now you know how they feel. Okay, so listen, take care. Have a great day. It's getting warm. We're getting above 32. We're working there. Okay, take care. Bye-bye. Okay, let's see. No, here.